各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。近年溫哥華市中心嘅店鋪盜竊問題持續受到關注，唔少嘅商戶都表示經營壓力日益增加。除咗貨物損失之外，員工嘅安全、營運成本，甚至係店鋪能否繼續經營，都成為咗現實嘅挑戰。我哋喺節目嘅第一部分就走訪咗兩位喺溫市中心開業嘅商戶，聽聽佢哋嘅親身經歷，了解店鋪盜竊問題點樣影響到佢哋嘅日常營運，以及佢哋面對嘅困難同埋應對方法。
So there's the guy. Doesn't even look around. Just grab out the door. You can see now my staff come. She's like, "What? What was that?" And now she's coming around outside.
So it happens all the time, right? Our security in here is really, we've done a good job with that. We've invested in a lot more cameras now, but again, the cameras don't really do anything. They just tell you who the person is.
溫哥華市中心店鋪盜竊問題持續引起商戶廣泛關注。當盜竊慢慢咁成為日常營業時候會面對嘅困難，商戶又可以點樣應對呢？Stephen Kim 經營嘅單車鋪位於溫市中心 Pacific 街附近，主要售賣各款同單車有關嘅零部件、衣着同飾物。Stephen 話：近年店鋪盜竊發生嘅機率越嚟越頻密，有時可能係相隔幾日，有時就相隔幾個星期。
I would say it really kind of started since COVID, when we started noticing that more people were sleeping under the overhang of our building because there's some protection here. And they sleep here overnight, early mornings, because the building across the street is now a homeless shelter, and because a block away, provincial government purchased the hotel and turned into an SRO. We now find there's more people in the area walking around in the early mornings and sleeping around our building.
Stephen 話：同幾年前相比，而家嘅小偷越嚟越大膽。佢憶述有小偷曾經喺光天化日之下將成架單車偷走。
And then one day in the summertime, when the front door was open, someone just hopped on an e-bike and rode straight out of our store. So now we keep the doors closed. We signed up for the BC Trespass Act, okay, which allows police to come to our business and take people away if they've done something bad without asking for our permission. That is a visible deterrent, but it doesn't prevent. So we do everything possible. We sign up for the Project 529 for bike theft. We're doing everything we can. Showing the community police that we're also part of the community police, but those decals are just visual, but they still don't deter the thief from coming in. They're still gonna do what they want to do.
為咗令小偷唔可以輕易落手 ，Stephen 都諗出唔少方法，希望可以盡量減低店鋪嘅損失。
We hook all our clothing hooks backwards, so it does this way. So, because when I grab these, I can't pull them all. If we hook it this way, if I want to steal, I can grab all of them and run away. Okay, so that is why we hook all of our clothes backwards. So now you just have to grab one at a time to pull it off. And we do that with all our clothes. Our security in here is really, we've done a good job with that. We've invested in a lot more cameras now, but again, the cameras don't really do anything. They just tell you who the person is. But in here, we've done that. We've laid everything out in a way where it's just, we kept everything low. There's no sight lines blocking. And the more important thing is when they come in, we engage them right away. So as mentioned earlier, you provide great hospitality. Hi, can I help you today? Just looking. Okay, so are you a cyclist today? So what do you ride? I ride a mountain bike. Okay, so you're gonna get out today in the rain? So you just keep asking questions, and eventually it annoys them that they just want to leave. Okay, so you don't allow these people to walk around and be by themselves.
再多嘅保安措施都難以完全阻止小偷偷嘢。Stephen 對此都感到好無奈。盜竊問題持續，造成店鋪嘅經濟損失。Stephen 都只係希望員工可以揾到足夠嘅收入同安全咁返工。
So you don't realize that losses in a business affect all of our ability to earn more money. So it's huge for a business. It's just it's not so much the products I'm worried about. It's taking care of my team, and I want to make sure that everyone here has an ability to live a comfortable life living in Vancouver. And in order for me to help them with higher compensation, we need to mitigate the theft and shoplifting that happens in a business. I think the best way to encounter is to really let them go. There's no product that's worth your safety, your life. But unfortunately, again, I find it very challenging to just let people walk in and walk out. I'd rather build a reputation for our business to make it more difficult for people to come here to steal from us.
So there's the guy. Doesn't even look around. Just grab out the door. You can see now my staff come. She's like, what? What was that? And now she's coming around outside.
So it happens all the time, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say all the time. What's all the time? More than once is too much for me, but it's happened a couple of times in the last few months.
Jason Overbo 由2003年開始喺耶魯鎮開設咗呢一間服裝店。過去20幾年無間斷都會受到店鋪盜竊問題困擾。佢話喺開業初期就已經被小偷嘅大膽行為嚇親。
This door, when we first moved in, you can see it has the little windows in the door, and I didn't worry about putting bars on it because, well, nobody can fit through that window. Ha! Within the first couple of months that we were open, somebody smashed out that window, crawled through, grabbed clothes, and then the alarm is going and crawled back out. Now, how they didn't cut themselves to shreds, I have no idea, because that is a tiny, tiny opening, and it was all broken glass inside the opening. They crawled in, crawled out. So now we have these bars. I had to put these bars, so you have to be that skinny to get in now. We've had our windows smashed so many times that we can't get insurance anymore for glass insurance. We have this gate that slides across at night. So it's a visual deterrent, so people see, even if I break the window, I'm still not going to be able to get in because there's this metal gate. They still break the windows. Sometimes they just break the windows for the sake of breaking the windows. So that's what we're doing right now.
為咗減低小偷偷嘢嘅機率 ，Jason 都喺店裏面做出一啲調整，包括安裝更加多嘅監控鏡頭並設置防盜裝置。雖然喺某程度上能夠阻嚇小偷，換嚟嘅代價係顧客同樣減少。
Normally we have the door open. I mean, where our location is kind of set back from the street a little bit, and it's not immediately obvious that it's a store or that it's open. So, as a small business, we have to do everything that we possibly can to attract customers into the store. So we have a speaker on the door, we play music, it's warm, it's friendly, people see the door open, it's inviting. You want to come in, it's more inviting. If the door is closed, you can't hear the music, you don't know the store is here, less people are going to come through the door. So that's the trade-off. I believe that even if the door was closed, he would still steal. It's not, so that's the trade-off now. We have less inviting for the customers, we have less people come in, but then the thieves, the guys that are taking from us, they're still walking through the door. So
Jason 話：而家嘅小偷比起以前更加唔介意被拍攝同埋要承擔法律後果。自己作為一間小型店鋪，都冇能力設立更加高級別嘅防盜措施。
If somebody walks in, they don't care about cameras, they don't care about getting caught, and they just help themselves and walk out the door, then there's not a lot you can do outside of potentially hiring a security guard to stand by the door every day. And we can't afford that. Like, we're a small business. We're just a small business. We're not a big chain with unlimited resources. So we can't afford that. The other possibility would be to have a doorbell, like a pawn shop or a jewelry store where you have to buzz to get in. I would hate to do that. Well, there's the direct cost, of course, of losing the merchandise, but there's also the indirect cost. It's the effect on the staff, morale. It's difficult. The last one, we have a woman that works here, so it makes her feel unsafe, and it makes wanting to do business in British Columbia.
面對溫市中心持續嘅店鋪盜竊問題，商戶喺日常營運中所承受嘅壓力不斷增加，而商戶喺遇到店鋪盜竊嘅時候都唔應該啞忍，反而應該積極向警方報案，反映實際情況。
Just make sure you're reporting. Always report. That's the biggest thing that Vancouver police say is even if it's a minor incident, whatever's the case, make a report. The more reports you make as a business owner, the more the police recognize that maybe your area needs to have more patrols. So don't be afraid to report to police, non-emergency or 911, and let them know what's going on.
We just got to support each other and try to help each other where we can. It's actually, even though the police, even though there aren't consequences for their actions, it's still good to file a police report, because then the police are aware that there's crime in your area, and the hope is that they'll have more patrols and police officers in the neighborhood if they see an uptick in crime. So we always report it, even though it doesn't, I've never had any merchandise recovered.
店鋪盜竊唔單止為商戶帶嚟經濟損失，更加係關乎到整體嘅營商環境同埋社區安全。咁究竟各級政府同埋執法部門點樣看待呢一個問題啦？又會採取啲乜嘢嘅措施去應對呢？下一節翻嚟，我哋會繼續探討。歡迎翻嚟節目時間。面對溫市中心嘅店鋪盜竊問題持續升溫啊！卑詩省府、溫市政府以及溫市警方近年都表示正係採取唔同嘅措施去應對，包括加強執法、資源調配以及多方面咁支援商戶。不過喺實際執行嘅層面，呢一啲嘅措施又係咪足夠呢？又能否真正咁改善到商戶所面對嘅困境呢？
溫市嘅店鋪盜竊問題持續多年。根據市府公佈嘅數據，市內喺2024年大概有7700宗店鋪盜竊，按年上升近12%。有唔少商戶都向政府反映對溫市嘅治安同營商環境感到擔憂。溫哥華市議員 Peter Meisler 話：市會明白商戶目前面對嘅困境，正係緊密同溫市警方合作，令到商戶同市民感到安全。
An unfortunate trend and pattern that we've seen with shoplifting is that shoplifters are getting more aggressive. They are threatening staff. They are using weapons increasingly to essentially get what they want, to be able to shoplift. That's an extremely concerning trend. And that's why the Vancouver Police Department has launched several targeted initiatives in retailers where there's a high preponderance of shoplifting. But this council has also increased funding to hire more police officers. So when we came into office, the Vancouver Police Department was facing a shortage of officers given our population. So this council has proactively provided more resources to the Vancouver Police Department.
要打擊犯罪活動，執法人員擔當重要角色。溫市警方話，市中心店鋪盜竊問題仍然係十分嚴重。當局都留意到，相較往年，而家嘅犯案人士大多為重複犯案或者係有組織犯案，犯案嘅手法都越嚟越成熟。
So like Granville Street, Robson Street, Pacific Center, we've noticed a huge hit and rise there. What we've noticed now is that it's not even just isolated anymore. It's not even low level, but it's quite repeat and quite prolific. And what that means is pretty much the same individuals are coming to the same stores, sometimes within the same day. And they're stealing the same product, and it's pretty much turning into an organized retail theft now. So they're deliberate in what they're doing. They're using multiple people Sometimes it's 4 or 5 of them. Sometimes it's teenagers, kids, and they're distracting staff while people are stealing. So it's not even just the person that's taking the items off the shelves. They're working in groups now. They have people outside of the store looking out for police officers. They know that there's loss prevention officers working, and they get to know their faces. They know if they're working, and they are pretty much acting as like a lookout. And they'll just text someone being like, don't steal right now, someone's in the store. Or they'll be like, yeah, you're good to go, take the stuff, there's no police officers around. So a challenge that we've noticed is just those types of investigations are a lot more complex.
除咗市中心，華埠嘅商戶同樣面對店鋪盜竊嘅困擾。溫哥華華埠商業促進會創會會長李世雄話：而家商戶都較以前更加提高警覺。
其實所有嘅商戶都習慣咗㗎啦，因為之前係仲差，咁所以但係我都呼籲所有商戶咧一定要報警咯。等警察有一個 record， 好多時而家警察記錄話啊，唔係喎，好咗好多，佢好咗200%喎，但係可能商戶未必 feel 到，因為偷嘢可能日日都有偷，咁同埋偷嘢好多時都未必告佢上庭嘅，咁所以我哋而家即係啲商戶都好醒目㗎啦，因為即係知道邊啲人一行入嚟就有懷疑，即刻及住佢㗎啦都。
為咗有效同長遠解決店鋪盜竊嘅問題，溫市政府喺2025年聯同警方、各地區嘅商業促進會同商戶團體組成一個零售罪案專責小組。Peter Meisler 話：最新數據反映喺溫市入面同暴力相關嘅罪案率有下降趨勢，市議會將會繼續努力解決店鋪盜竊嘅根本問題。
They often will launch special projects. One that comes to mind is Project Barcode, and that is a specific crackdown on shoplifting at a specific retailer. So we've seen this happen around town, for example, at London Drugs, to help combat shoplifting. But actual crime in Vancouver is actually at a historic low. We had a 44% drop in robberies this year, and we had 23% fewer serious assaults. On property crime, business break-ins are actually down 22%. I don't have the specific shoplifting data, but when people break into businesses, they often steal items. But what we're really trying to do is address the core issues that are driving people to shoplift. So we are working to create safer neighborhoods. We're working to ensure that people get the support they need in terms of mental health issues or addictions issues that might be driving them to shoplift.
We've been able to coordinate with other cities and other units and find out who the people stealing are selling to. So it's kind of coming full circle. We're getting more people, holding more people accountable, and with doing that, we've developed such a stronger bond with and partnership with retailers, whether it's on the floor sales staff or managers. We've attended meetings with them, and we're sharing way more information than before. So the level of communication has really helped us as police officers and retail staff identify the patterns and respond more effectively.
市府同市警嘅努力固然重要，省府嘅幫助或者能夠從源頭解決問題。卑詩社區安全及綜合服務省務廳長，亦都係溫哥華耶魯鎮選區省議員嘅楊子亮，曾經任職溫市警員幾十年。佢接受本台訪問嘅時候話，省府近年嚟透過撥款同推出政策，以及同市府同溫市警方合作，打擊店鋪盜竊犯罪。
省政府幫同埋市政府同 VPD 開咗個 Hastings Sunrise Gastown 個 Community Policing Centre， 同埋將來會喺9月會開一個新嘅Police Academy， 咁係令到個區咧多咗好多呢個 presence 同埋 prevention， 即係要防止咁樣，因為偷咗之後就已經希望已經遲咯，喺防暴佢唔會咁樣做。同埋咧，我哋 also 咧就第二個咧就係呢個 bail reforms 啊，我哋 BC 省就同聯邦政府就話唔聽，所以repeat offenders 唔可以今朝拉咗晏晝放翻出嚟，佢有 consequences 嘅，因為如果你知道 有好少數嘅犯法者係犯咗好多個 percentage 嘅 repeat crime， 我哋一定要針對佢哋防止佢哋一路咁樣去揾嗰啲細嘅 businesses 嗰度做呢個犯法。我哋知道啊，呢件事未就 a lot of work to be done， 我哋會再做好多，但係我哋會好針對點樣去同呢個社區同埋啲市民合作，令到佢哋發覺最重要嘅係咩事。咁我哋會省政府同埋佢當地嘅警署就會合作，令到點樣可以 target 嗰班人，針對嗰啲犯法嗰啲事。以前係violent crime， 而家就係 property crime， 因為 property crime 都好重要。
卑詩保守黨省議員曾經擔任皇家騎警嘅 McCall 就覺得，要針對犯案者重複犯案，最有效嘅做法係加快法院審訊嘅流程。
But to actually solve the problem, I think there needs to be more than just that, particularly because these are repeat offenders. They're just revolving door happening over and over. So it's not really solving the problem. I think what would be very helpful is looking at that it's repeat offenders doing this over and over again and targeting that. For example, Crown and court resources being bolstered where they have. They're not these trials, these court cases are not delayed where they can get someone dealt with quickly in the courts. We used to have community courts, right, where they would have something exactly like this, and they would take, okay, this person has so many of these shoplifting theft files, and they'd go quickly. They wouldn't wait a month or 3 months for their court case. They'd give it like a week court case, and then they'd be right. Very quickly dealt with by the courts.
店鋪盜竊並唔係一朝一夕可以解決，唔單止依靠各級政府嘅努力，同時需要商戶同市民嘅齊心協力。喺安全、執法同營商之間點樣取得平衡，或者會係溫市要繼續面對嘅難題。
主要都係希望多啲警察啦，同埋多啲巡邏啊，唔好揸住架車巡邏。最好咧就係行路去巡邏。咁變咗咧就會有啲阻嚇性咯。咁商戶當然要小心啦。而家我哋都周圍都係 CCTV 㗎啦，咁所以每個鋪頭同埋我哋而家同啲商戶都有一個 app 咧，就係邊個有問題啊，嗰啲相就會擺上去。咁如果嗰個人你睇到咧，你就要留意住佢啦。咁所以而家偷嘢嗰啲人差唔多每個商戶都會知道邊一個係專偷嘢，咁就會警惕下咯。
It's all going to come back down to funding, right? So, what funding are you providing for Vancouver Police to increase resources in patrols to help us businesses? That's probably the big thing that I would say. I can't. It comes down to funding, really. It's everyone needs more people, need more resources, and that requires funding. So whether it comes from a municipal level, provincial level, federal level, I don't know. But obviously, local police agencies just need more resources to be able to take care of us.
When you're opening a business, I mean, running a small business is difficult. We have a large, government burden. There's a lot of taxes, there's a lot of regulations, and this is just one more pain that we don't need to deal with. Do you know what I mean? Like it just makes it so much more difficult to operate a small business. And the community suffers. Not only do they suffer because they don't have small business, but small business pays a huge chunk of the taxes that actually support the programs that help to run the city. So, I wish that the city or the province had more of an appetite to do more to help small business, because it's really good. It affects me, it affects my staff, but it affects the entire community. This isn't a problem for everybody.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間又差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。我哋嘅電郵地址係 mag26@fairchildtv.com。如果觀眾想上網重溫今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站3w.fairchildtv.com， 點擊節目重溫一欄就可以睇得返㗎啦。下星期同樣時間再同大家見面，晚安。